Hello fellow Rocketeers, I will be showing you some tips when you build your rockets. So how to start building your rocket if you don't have any idea. First of all, you need to cut your tubes. So check your design. What is the size of the payload? What is the size of the booster section? How many inches? This year's design will require 3x, so you should have at least like 12 inches on the top side payload section, and for the booster section there will be 3 parachutes in it, so you will need about 12 inches as well for this one. You can make the top part a little longer, 12 and a half, 13 inches. I recommend 13 inches. Okay, in order to cut them perfectly fine, you need to trace with a pencil, draw a perfect fine circle around the rocket. So to do this, you need to use, you see that paper, just take one sheet of paper and wrap around the body tube perfectly, wrap around and put a tape on it. Let me show you another picture. My students were doing like that. You see that paper on the left side? They are just random regular paper, one sheet of paper. You wrap around the body tube and trace with a pencil. Make sure it is perfectly aligned. After you trace with a pencil, cut it nicely with an X-Acto knife. Some of my students were cutting it with a Dremel tool. I recommend this if you're good handy. So if your hand is shaking, then you're gonna end up messing up these edges. Like those examples, you see they're not cutting perfectly. Okay, so after you cut your body tube sizes, okay, make sure your nose cone fits nicely. And this year, by the way, don't freak out, this is last year's design. It's BT70 at the top and BT80 at the bottom. So this year is going to be completely BT70, bottom and top, all of them same, which is easier. And then you need to build your motor mount, which is this piece. Your motor mount, it shouldn't be that long. Yours should be about 4.5 inch, something like that, 4.6, 4.7, or 4.2 inches. Okay, and you shouldn't have 3 rings. You should have only 2 centering rings. Okay, and you need to glue those centering rings to motor mount. And when you glue it, by the way, this is the bottom part. You put the engine from the bottom, and this is the top part. You see that how she connected a Kevlar, the yellow cord, tied it up to this centering ring. Okay, it is not connected to the middle, it's not connected to the bottom, it is just connected to the top one. Okay, and let me show you one video explaining a little bit better. This is how it's supposed to be for this year. Okay, so it should be like ½ inch on this side at the bottom, about ½ inch on the other side as well. Okay, and this string, it should be at least 5-6 feet long. Okay, 5-6 feet long. Okay, and make sure you make a notch, like a little bit cut it through, so this string is not going to, stuck in between body tube and hit this one. So your string Kevlar cord should go through that notch. Okay, you just do this with a Dremel tool, sand it down, and this is just glue, wood glue. Okay, you make this notch with this Dremel tool. Okay, So this centering ring is going to upper area, like in the booster section still, but it's going to be top centering ring and the other centering ring on the other side should be going to the bottom. Yeah, make sure you tighten those nuts very well. 3, 4, 5 nuts should be fine. Okay, you put some wood glue on it. And make sure you hang this horizontally, not vertically, because if you put them vertically, those centering rings, the wood glue is still wet and they're gonna slide and the shape is not going to be perfectly fine, which will affect the rocket flight. So make sure you have a like horizontal skewers, wood pieces. You can pass this through and you can hang it horizontally and let it dry. Okay, next you need to slide this piece after it dries. You need to slide this into your booster section, which is the bottom part. You need to slide it from the bottom and check your design. It will need to stick out like ½ inch or less. Okay, let's see one of the bottom of the rockets. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is a common mistake. Don't make this mistake, otherwise you need to break your rocket and start over. Here you go. These are the experts. You see that this is motor mount and this is centering ring, and you see they put this rail buttons. When you glue this first, you will not have a chance to put those rail buttons because they need to be screwed from the bottom, from inside. So first you need to put those rail buttons and then put this centering rings motor mount inside and glue it. Okay, and this is one of the HSA El Paso did, and they completed nice. You see that this coupler, it is sticking out, so we put like maybe 1 inch inside the payload so we can still use this payload section, and we still have space here so we can put more payload like eggs. One of the eggs, half of the eggs can fit in here, so we have more room for eggs. But we ended up like 10-inch booster is not good enough. It's very small. You see that booster, they did like 10.5 inch and it was small because 3 parachutes didn't fit it. We need to put insulation materials, parachute 1, parachute 2, and parachute 3, and the payload will come close to here. So 10.5 inches is not good enough. Make it at least like 12 inches. Okay, but not more than 13 inches. Should be between 12 and 13 inch. I would recommend 12 inches perfectly fit. What else? Oh, your fins. These fins, they are huge. We don't need them because we have 3 eggs to carry, and with those fins it's not possible. And you see that this bottom part notch, it's called through the wall fins. So it's going to go through the body booster section, sorry, the bottom part of the rocket. So you see that slots. You need to cut it through those boosters and then insert your fins and glue it tightly. To do this through the wall fins. This is your design. Go to your fin set, double click. Now see, there is no connection right here, so you need to go to this tab, TTW fin mount. It means through the wall fin mount. Okay, increase those just randomly to see how it is acting. You see that at the bottom it's showing you. So you need to bring this in between two centering rings. So this through the wall section should touch the motor mount, the depth of it. It will calculate automatically. If we say calculate the fin depth for me. So you just need to make sure this is starting between, like, not exactly touching the centering rings. Like this amount should be fine, or a little small. And to make sure they are touching, you need to hit this button, calculate the fin tab. So it does it for automatically for you, because the distance between like 56 millimeter and 24 millimeter, it gives you this calculation automatically. Okay, and hit OK. Now you saved your fins. You see that through the wall section. So double click this fin again, and see at the bottom it says export template. So this will export only the fins and as an SVG template, which you can open with Adobe Illustrator. So let me save this on the desktop. Hit or miss bracket fin set, it says. Okay, save. Okay, and then let's go back to here, right there. Hit or miss bracket fins. Okay, you need to take this file, save it on a flash drive, and go to a makerspace which they have laser cutter, and ask them to cut this for you on a 2.7 millimeters or 1/8 inch thickness plywood. So buy them from Home Depot or Amazon online somewhere, and after you cut your fins, you can slightly sand it down, slightly, just not too much. If you sand it too much, you're gonna deform, you're gonna change the shape of the fins, which will affect aerodynamics of the rocket. So you don't want this. You want it to match the actual design with the design on a computer. And lastly, this is how you're going to attach 2 parachutes to your payload section. Okay, 2 parachutes to your payload section. Yep, that's it. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. Have a good one.